Hello everyone, this is Braden. Want to do a quick tutorial video on how to find the best JDM cars at auction. We're going to be primarily focused on Canadian customers today, so we're going to find the best cars in a given age, mileage, and budget. We're going to decode the JDM auction sheets to best gauge condition without actually seeing the cars in person. We're also going to spot potential pitfalls that could end up requiring costly safety modifications and repair bills. Stay tuned to the end for a bonus tip on how to potentially save hundreds, if not thousands, with provincial vehicle safety compliance. Let's get started. Alright, so we're here at our web browser. The first thing we're going to do is we're going to go to the auction portal. So there's an importer out of Calgary named BPro. They have a great auction portal. Alright, so we're here at the computer, and you can see here I have loaded up the auction portal. So different importers will have this auction portal. This is BPro's auction portal. JDM Connection, who's another importer in Canada, they also have this auction portal. So you can choose which importer you like and go with them. Today I'm going to be going through the BPro auction portal, but it'll be the same cars at auction. And if you find something you like in the BPro auction portal, chances are if you work with any other importer, they can also get the same unit for you. So I'm going to give you a tutorial here on how to navigate this auction portal in order to find the best cars for your money. So with BPro, they do have a guest account where the username would be Japanese and the password will be imports. So if you go in the name, you can go Japanese imports and then sign in or hit enter. So don't worry about this common password. This auction portal doesn't really need to be secure, it just shows listings. So we're going to go ahead and ignore that warning. When you sign in, you'll be thrown right into the advanced search here. Now, if you're not already in advanced search, make sure you click on advanced search and you should see a page like this. So this might look pretty intimidating at the start, but it's pretty straightforward. I'll go through all these options here. So left-hand drive, if you would like to have to import a car that is left-hand drive rather than right-hand drive, you can select this option. The caveat being that left-hand drive cars are quite a bit more expensive because more people would rather have the convenience of left-hand drive compared to right-hand drive. So I'm going to leave this unchecked. This is essentially make model. So you can see we have all the Japanese makes, all the German makes down here, USA. You can also import USA made cars here. Italian if you're looking for something a bit more exotic. France, Sweden, Korea, and some other imports as well. So today we're going to keep it simple, we're going to look for a Honda Civic Type R. So this was not available in Canada, but it was available in Japan. So we're going to go Honda Civic. You can select as many different car models in this as you want. So you can see Civic is selected here. If I hold Control and click another model, then I can select both of those, and both of those models will appear in the search results. So what I can do to demonstrate this, I'm going to have Civic and I'm going to have Accord. So we're going to look through Civics and Accords. So we're going to look for Civic Type Rs and Accord Euro Rs. I believe they have a similar engine. Accord's obviously a larger vehicle, so it'll be heavier, but less expensive. If that's something you're interested, then there you go. Lot number you don't really need to touch unless you know the specific lot number of the auction your car is in. Year, this is where you're going to have to put at least the top end barrier. So in Canada, the law is 15 years old and older. So right now it is 2023, so 15 years old would be 2008. I want to throw a caveat here. Not all 2008 model vehicles will be able to be exported for import in Canada. The reason for this is Japan has their model years, the actual year and month the car is first registered. For the year you want to go 2008, So you can put a minimum year if you want, if you don't want anything older than a specific date. I'm gonna put 2000. I'll put 2000. So we got 2000 to 2008. The transmission, I will put manual in this case. Mileage, the units for this are 1,000 kilometers. So I'm gonna put 125, for example. Shift, they're all two-wheel drive, so I'll just leave that blank. V engine, so this is the displacement of the engine. So it'd be a 2-liter for the Honda Civics and Honda Accord Euro R. V engine is useful in this case because I want to look at all the R versions, the Honda Civic Type R and the Honda Accord Euro R spec. So the Type Rs, they all have the 2-liter engines. Normal Civics, maybe base level or lower trim Civics, they can have the 1.6 or 1.8 liter engines. So you can filter them out if you put, say, 1900 cc. I'm going to put 1900, so anything less than a 1.9 liter will be filtered out. Anything greater than a 1.9 will be included. The reason I'm putting 1900 and not 2000 for a 2-liter is because the 2-liter Honda engines and most other engines are actually slightly less than 2 liters. I think there's like 1997 cc. So I'm going to put 1900 to make sure I include all of the 2-liter engines, including the ones with displacements slightly less than 2000 cc. Model type, I usually leave this blank because not all of the listings have the model type listed, so it's not really good metric to use. Price, I usually like to leave this blank because this isn't really reflective of the price to get it here in Canada. Shipping is going to be different for different types of vehicles, different sizes, different weights, etc. Taxes, customs, things like that, it's all going to be different. So it's a good metric, but I wouldn't filter on it, so I'll just leave that blank for now. Keywords, you can put keywords in here. So if you're looking for Type R, you can put Type R in the search term here. Not all listings will put terms like that in their description, so I personally like to leave it blank and just manually go through the listings to determine if it is a Type R or if it's not a Type R, for example. So we're going to have this as it is, Honda Accords and Civics. Colors, if you want to choose a particular color, you can choose them here. You can select multiple if you'd like. I'm just going to have it all blank so it doesn't filter by color. Scores, now this is important. You'll see here you have scores from 1, 2, 3, 3.5, 4, 4.5, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. R, R, A, S. S is a brand new car, so you're likely not going to find S, a 15-year-old model. R and RA cars were in an accident at some point in their lifetime. An RA car is a minor accident, where an R is like maybe a more moderate to major accident. So you can go through R and RA, and in the auction sheet they'll have the body panels that were replaced, so you can kind of gauge how severe the accident was. So I'm going to include RA in the search because RA is normally a very light accident, most likely a body panel or something like that, and the auction sheet should have details on which body panels were replaced. Next, I'm going to go through the numbers. So 7, 8, 9 is essentially a brand new condition, 0 to 2-year-old cars. You're likely not going to see that with 15-year-old cars. They could be in great condition, but the inspectors won't list it as 7, 8, 9 as they're reserved for more of the newer cars. If you're looking at 15-year-old cars and you're looking for a showroom condition, you can go and select grades 5 and 6, and maybe 4.5. So 4.5 will be close. 5 and 6, definitely. They'll be like essentially a brand new car, 15 years old. 4.5 and 4, you'll find are really, really good, solid condition, well taken care of. I usually like to stick with the 4.5 as an overall condition. They offer the best value for money, I find. All of the cars I've purchased in the past have been grade 4s. They've been fantastic, much better condition average of what you're going to find here in Canada or the United States. So I like to have the scores like this. Equipment, again, you know, not all of the listings specify this, so I like to leave this blank, as well as these options here. I usually leave that blank. So here we go. So you want to click this auction button, and that'll bring the drop down for all of the auctions that go on in Japan. So the ones that are grayed out means they're not happening that particular week, or they're elapsed. So Monday and Tuesday auctions would be elapsed. Today is Tuesday evening, 8 o'clock. It is Wednesday morning in Japan right now. So I'm going to go ahead and select Wednesday, Thursday, Friday, and Saturday. So all of the available auctions for those days this week will be viewable in this search query. You can select one price if you want. One price listings are dealer listings. They'll be typically more expensive than auction listings, but they'll likely be, you know, inspected beyond the auction inspection, and you might have issues taken care of at the dealer to prompt like a quick sale like that. So it's kind of similar to here. You know, you can get a car from an auction, you're not so sure what to expect. You can get a car from a dealer, and chances are the dealer has, you know, changed the coolant, changed the oil, changed anything questionable. So if you're willing to go that route, you can choose one price. In this case, I'm going to leave this blank. I'm going to search only for auction units, and we're going to hit search. All right, so we have 4 listings of Honda Civic Type Rs. They are 2007, 2008, 2008, and 2008. So we have manual transmissions. This is good. F6, that's the 6-speed. These are the 2-liter engines. You can see the displacement. All of these have great mileage, 67,000 kilometers here, 110,000 kilometers, 79,000, and 111,000. They are 2007 and 2008 models, and these are for upcoming auctions on February 9th and February 8th. So the February 8th one actually has the local Japanese time there. This is a 24-hour clock format. All right, so we're gonna click on one of these 4 units, and okay, here. So unfortunately, this one does not have high resolution images. This is pulling data from the Japanese auction database, and oftentimes you won't find the full resolution images. In this particular case, you can contact B-Pro and ask them for the auction sheet and additional photos of this car if you're interested. But if you don't want to go through that, you can find other cars with the auction sheet already listed. So I'm going to go and find any cars to see if there's... So none of these have auction sheets posted. I'm going to expand my search and include anything up to 150,000 kilometers. Okay, a new one showed up here. Honda Civic Type R, 2008, 126,000 kilometers. And this one has an auction sheet and additional photos. So you can see this is what the car looks like. You can scroll through the different photos here. You can see relatively good condition car. Here's the interior. It's quite a shame we didn't have this in the North American market. So here's the auction sheet I was talking about earlier. So this is a very, very important document. You want to make sure you understand this and get some of this translated for you, because this can give you so much insight into the overall shape of the vehicle and problems to expect going forward. So Honda Civic Type R, you can see this right here. This stands for month. And the third month would be March. So this vehicle was manufactured in March of 2008. Because it is February, I would have to wait 1 month for this to be legally importable into Canada. So this was the important aspect I was talking about earlier, where not only does the model year have to be 15 years older than, you know, the current year, the manufacturer month has to align with 15 years old from the current date. So you wait 1 month, you can import this unit. I know B Pro, they can hold on to it for that long and export when it is legal. They provide that option. So if you do want to go through that route, you can certainly do that. So let's see what else we have. I think this says Honda Civic. There's nothing too important up here. This shows the model and the trim, so you can see R, Honda Civic Type R. So here we have the grade that we were talking about before. This is a grade 4, so a good solid used unit. You can see we have 2 letters here, C and C. So what do these mean? These are the interior and exterior scores. So I did a quick check. This is the exterior score and this is the interior score. So we have an exterior score of C and an interior score of C. D would be the worst, being like significant worse than average wear for the age. A would be exceptional, essentially brand new. B would be very, very nice, well taken care of, and above average for the age. C would be average. So I found with a minimum of 4C, you're gonna get a pretty decent unit. So these ratings here will give you a general insight on the overall condition. You can find more specifics in the inspector comments over here. You want to translate this to figure out what this says. There's an easy way to translate these comments using your phone and the Google Translate app. I'm going to show you how to do it right here. Alright, so you're here in Google Translate. So you can see in sort of the midsection on the left side, there's camera. So you're going to want to tap on camera. So right now we're using Google Lens. So we're going to switch the orientation here. And you can see here we have the inspector entry field. So you can see the comments we have: sheet torn, small wear, and small scratch on the exterior, and studless tires. So this probably has studless winter tires, minor scratches on the body, which are typical, and sheet torn, that could be a translation issue. This is something I would double check with the importer. Usually they have a translator that works for them that can easily translate these sheets for you. You can also pay someone online to translate them for you if you'd like, but usually the importer can provide that for free. While you're here, you can also look at the notes. Above that, there's also a notes column. You can see the text is bouncing around quite a bit. This is pretty typical. The Japanese to English translation is pretty tough for Google Translate if not all the characters are read. If you wiggle your phone around a bit, you can get a greater insight into what the inspector is saying. There's a normal tire inside the car, likely means there's a spare wheel. And we can go to the one purchase car. Alright, we're back here at the desktop. You can see here minor exterior scratches. This is visible on this blown out diagram of the car. So you can see all these A's, A2, A3, A3, A2, 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 A1. A's are scratches, and the numbers ahead of the A are the severity. So A1 would be a very, very minor scratch. You almost can't see it unless you're like right up close to it. A2 would be a moderate scratch, not that noticeable unless you're looking out for it. A3 would be a more significant scratch, so you definitely see it if you were, looking for it outside the car. P's are paint damage, so usually some type of fading or peeling off. P1 would be very, very minor on the hood here. P2 would be slightly more, but still pretty moderate. P4 would be the worst. The good news is it doesn't appear there's any rust on this car, and the reason I say that is that there's no S designations. So if there was rust related to these two P's, right, P1 and P2, there would be an S there as well. That would indicate rust or corrosion. Because there are none, this should be rust free based on this auction sheet. Inspectors are pretty good at pointing out rust, so if there's no rust at all in the comments or in the vehicle diagram, you should be good to go. So this appears to be a very good unit, solid condition, well taken care of, nothing crazy I can see out of the photos. Seems to be a very good Civic Type R. It even has, let's see here. Yeah, even the floor mats are even plastic covered. A little bit of wear on the seats here. This is likely what the comments were talking about, is slight wear on the seat. The interior looks really nice. This is a really nice car. I would love to drive this around. This would be a ton of fun. You can go ahead and go through B Pro if you want. You can go through JDM Connections. I think they're in Edmonton. Or any importer who can import auction units. Most importers can. So we have the name of the auction place, CAA Shubu. I don't know if I'm saying it that right, but this is the auction place. This is the lot number. So you could tell your importer, I'm interested in this particular unit at this auction. It's going to be on this date, February 8th. That is tomorrow as of recording this right now, so this unit will not be available when you see this, unfortunately. Another thing to note here is this is also what the commenter was saying. There are wheels here, spare wheels here in the car, so most likely this owner has a different set of rims for both summer and winter tires, which is great. That means you don't have to purchase separate winter tires, because most of the cars that come from Japan, they'll have summer tires, depending on what area of Japan they're living in. Some of the northern areas, they do get snow. So in the southern areas, they're a bit hotter, so it really depends what you end up with. It's really good to find units with both a set of winter and summer tires to save a bit of money. This car does appear to be lowered, so that could be an issue with safetying the car in the provincial jurisdiction you're taking this to. I personally stay away from lowered cars. I like the stock suspension setup, and I'll modify in case I need to. The provincial inspector will look for suspension components. If there's any issue, you will have to replace them. So this vehicle is a very good condition vehicle, low mileage. You likely won't have any issues with this car. But even if you do, suspension components for Honda Civic, they aren't too expensive. So it's your risk, whatever you're willing to tolerate. Potential pitfalls. So I'm going to show you an RA unit to demonstrate what lightly repaired cars would be like. So we can go SC430, same auction place. That's interesting, different unit number. This is a 2006, again, interior, exterior score, CC. So in the previous example, we saw the score in here, but sometimes you can also find the score in here. So the displacement of this car is a 4.3 liter V8. That's what the displacement is, 4,300 here. Start price 590,000 yen at this auction. This was a private car, so you can see this is a nice black color. It is a convertible with a metal folding roof. You can see the interior looks pretty nice, except with the exception of This, I'm not sure if that's condensation. It looks like it'll just wipe away. Looks like it was... Looks like, so this is interesting. Looks like they have some kind of water, so it could have been raining or something on this particular day they were taking pictures. So I wouldn't be too concerned about this, most likely water. The rest of this looks in really nice shape. And if you're concerned about something not found on the auction sheet, if you go through B-Pro, their guys can go look at the unit and let you know if there are any major problems, like dash cracks, for example. And I had that through personal experience. I was going to buy a Toyota Crown, and I was notified that the dashboard had significant cracks. I could kind of see it from the picture, but I wasn't certain on how severe it was. And when I got word it was pretty severe, pretty noticeable, then I decided not to bid on that unit. So you always have options like that. So contact your importer and ask if you can get details. More than likely, they can. In some cases, you can't because the auctions are quick and there's just no time to reach the unit before it's over. In some cases, you can, and you can get a guy to look at it for you. It might cost extra, but if that's what you're looking for the extra peace of mind, you have that option. So I know B-Pro has a guy that goes in and looks at the unit if it's possible. Sometimes it's not possible since the auctions appear and end so quickly in certain cases. In this example, I believe this auction is for tomorrow, which is today morning in Japan. Again, we're going to look at this auction sheet. So we have W, which is, W is a wave. So W2. So, moderate wave in the body exterior. Again, I'm not seeing any 3s. I'm seeing 1s and 2s. As long as you see 1s and 2s, then most likely that's fine. So this is a great RA. What has been replaced? Well, this body panel here has been replaced. Most likely, this car is fine. If the hood or something is replaced, I would be a bit more concerned because there might have been a more significant, maybe head-on collision in that scenario. But if it's a side panel or a door, things like that, I wouldn't worry too much about it. This one has had this panel here replaced. Again, not a big deal. And this car has had this panel here replaced. Most likely not a big deal. Most likely minor accident. But there's some level of risk there, so it's what you're willing to tolerate. So we have something underlined here in the comments. That's interesting. I'm gonna take a look and see what that is and get back. So this says left front inside panel distortion. Now this is something I would talk with the importer to get clarification on because there's some translation issues with that. Doesn't quite seem right. I assume it has something to do with this front left panel here. Maybe the inside, there's something going on there. I'm not quite sure. But if we go through the list here, this says sheet stains and scratches. So you can kind of see the details of where all the scratches are on the diagram here. So this says side mirror A, so that'd be a side mirror scratch. Not sure how significant it would be, but if it's listed in the comments, it would be somewhat significant. So if that's something you wouldn't like to have, you can skip this one. You can look for a different unit. So this line here, I translate, it says light line damage on the exterior. This is defective right side gate bumper. All right, so defective R gate damper. So this would be significant because this is an automatic folding roof. So if one of the dampers are broken, the automatic folding roof may not work, and that could be significant. So that's something to talk to your importer with. If it's something minor, they'll tell you. If it's something major, more than likely they'll tell you. I had a guy I know had a Subaru Legacy, a failed gate damper. I think he replaced both of them for what, 60-70 bucks. So as long as it's a basic trunk rather than an automatic folding roof, then that wouldn't be an issue. But because this is an automatic folding roof, that is definitely something to be concerned about, and something you should speak to your importer about to ask, okay, how much would this cost to replace, and is it easy to replace or not? So I hopped on to another unit here. This is a 2007 Lexus IS 250. You can see the starting price is only 30,000 yen, which is 300 Canadian dollars. So that's what the starting bid is at. Most likely something like this would sell for, 8-9 grand Canadian dollars. So you can kind of gauge from the starting bid, this one is a bit more expensive, 590,000. This one would probably go into the more 10 to 12 range, I'd say. The numbers I'm telling you here, this would be the cost to get it to Vancouver, all paid for, said and done, cleared customs, everything. So that includes the cost of the car, the cost of shipping, the cost of customs, the cost of, everything in between to Vancouver. Doesn't include, provincial registration, provincial taxes, if your province has tax on used cars. Keep in mind, 10 to 12 grand, this unit most likely costs shipped to Vancouver. So how do you know what the price is going to be? So say, for example, you're looking at a particular unit. Here we can choose a Mazda Atenza Sport, which is a Mazda Speed 6, I think, the 2.3. So here we have a Mazda Atenza Sport 23S. So we have the auction sheet here, very good condition, CB. I'm not going to go through these for the sake of time, but see, there's a replaced body panel here. Again, I would ask your importer if there's any issues with that, but overall very good. Minimal pin dents here. U1 is a pin dent, but a 1 would be less significant, so pretty good there. Very low mileage, 111,000 K. Good condition car. Maybe a slight stain on the seat here, but other than that, very, very nice. So say you're looking at this car and you're thinking, I wonder what this is gonna go for. So you see here there's an average price, so this would be the final auction price after the auction is complete. This price won't really matter as much because it doesn't include all the shipping and customs costs that Canadian customers would have to do. So what you can do is you can go to the actual main page of BPro, and you can go under inventory and BPro auto stock, and you can search for your vehicle. So say you're looking at this Mazda Atenza Sport 23S with the manual. You can look at the Atenza, which is a Mazda Speed 6, by the way, in North America. So you can see this one, 140,000 kilometers almost, for $11,669. So you can expect this unit here, an older unit, 2003, less mileage, would probably go for approximately the same. So what you can do, you can set a budget. You can say, hey, I'm willing to bid up to 12,000, and you can bid up to 12,000 on a unit like this. And most importers will have like a flat base fee. Well, they'll charge above the auction price that they inevitably get the car for at auction, and then you'll have the car in your name. Most importers, they put the car in your name. And keep in mind, when you set a budget, you're factoring in everything. So you're factoring all the shipping costs, the customs costs, and all the logistics in between. So you tell an importer you're willing to pay this, you'll pay that, shipped to Vancouver, and then you can fly to Vancouver or have the car transported from Vancouver that point on. So the bonus tip for today, I wanted to show you guys. This is a mistake I made which cost me around $800, which I didn't have to pay had I known about this. So a lot of headlights that come out of Japan, they are not Department of Transportation, DOT approved. Some provincial safety inspections may require you to replace your headlights in order to comply with local Motor Safety Act. So I thought they required Department of Transportation headlights. There's nothing I could really do but replace them with DOT headlights. So I didn't find this out till later, but if the headlights have the ECE stamp, which is this stamp right here, if it has the E1 stamp, it is ECE compliant, which can be substituted for Department of Transportation. So I did not have to replace these headlights. All I needed to do was get reflectors, because as you can see, these headlights don't have side reflectors, which are mandatory in Canada and the United States. But if you go to your auto department store, you can get $3 reflectors that are magnets, slap them on the side, and call it a day. Pretty much all of the headlights that come from Japan are ECE certified, and they comply with the regulations for the European standard. So if you can show your provincial inspector that and provide magnet side reflective markers, then you won't need to replace these. Now, the reason this cost me $800 is because I ordered halogen lights, and the lights that come on a Subaru Forester during this time in Japan, they had HID lights, which wasn't an option in North America. So when I replaced the lights, some funky wiring had to be done in order to ensure that the lights, which I paid a shop to do, and the labor cost me around $800. Don't do that. What you can do is keep the lights, get reflectors, show the inspector station they are ECE compliant. That way you won't have to replace the lights and potentially having high costs of modifications due to mismatch between Japanese spec models and North American spec models. So that is my tip for you today. Hopefully that helps some of you guys out. If you have any questions or suggestions for people going out purchasing cars, feel free to leave that in the comment section below. I'm Braden. Thank you so much all for watching, and subscribe for more content on Japanese import vehicles.